What's up, YouTube? Blaze here, and I'm back with another reaction video. Okay, so what I'm recording now is one of the clips from my live stream over on Kick on Wednesday. Hey, so yeah. For this video, I'm gonna be getting into something serious. The video I have for you guys today is, well, Asmongold's reaction to Powder getting banned on Twitch. Which, for literally the dumbest reason possible. Now, I'm not doing this for political reasons, because I assure you I am apolitical. I want nothing to do with politics, whether it's creating my videos or my live streams. I want to remain neutral in a lot of affairs, so yeah. It's not about politics, it's about principle. Anyways, so yeah, on to the video. Oh, I know this is not the normal content I do. It's something I feel like I need to address. And also furthermore, tomorrow I'm going to be also addressing I'm going to be reacting to a video from Rev Sestetsu, on the whole situation between Kino Casino and the quartering. So I hope you guys are here for that. Anyways, I'm ready. If you guys are ready, let's go.
Let's find out why.
Hello guys, I have been suspended from Twitch for 7 days.
Good job, retard.
Why? I'm not
stupid.
so sure. On April 7th, I watched I Expose Texas's Indian.
Okay, so this was pretty much the reason. Then watching a video from Oliveira talking about how many Indians are in Texas. I think the biggest injustice here is that the background, you can obviously tell it's AI.
Okay.
An Invasion by Tyler Oliveira with chat. The VOD was deleted by Twitch.
Wow.
So I can only assume my suspension is related to that. And this suspension in particular...
It's crazy how people like that try so hard to remove anybody's voice that's disagreeing with it. And the reason why they try so hard... No, we're going to watch the video. We're going to watch it. Probably tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking about. Probably tomorrow. We'll be watching it. Don't worry about it, because I've held off on it. It's going to happen. And that being said, why is it that you're afraid of other people saying this stuff? Why is it that the only way that the ecosystem of this being okay can be preserved is if you literally remove everybody else's ability to talk about it? Because this is one thing I've noticed, like whether it's like identity stuff, whether it's like immigration stuff or anything else, the only environments that these ideologies can exist in are the environments where they're they're protected.
Honestly, the truth is, and I'm quoting Jack Nicholson here in that Tom Cruise movie he was in, you want the truth? You can't handle that truth. Basically, these people just want to plug their ears, scream, la 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 la, blah 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 blah, not listening, that sort of thing.
Like, they can't exist as a species inside of an ecosystem. They have to be in a reservation. And it's because the ideas are horrible. Nobody agrees with any of this stuff. It's just being pushed, and you create a false consensus around it by banning anybody who doesn't agree. It's embarrassing.
Seems a bit much.
It's retarded.
7 days.
Okay. The clip from the ring. That's hilarious.
However, this isn't my first time being suspended on Twitch, but even that previous
Someone's been bad.
suspension felt unreasonable. So let me give you the details on that. On January 19th, I used a widget to combine chat from Kick and Twitch.
Of course, it had to be for this reason. Yeah, unfortunately, Powder wasn't the only one that was banned due to this rule, due to this stupid enforcement rule. Well, and then they eventually changed it. One of my favorite content creators that I go for a lot of technical stuff about streaming, and especially when it comes to using stuff like widgets, Nutty. He was practically given a 1-day suspension for the same particular reason. And until they decided to change that. In fact, the backlash got so bad, when they came time to announce the change, Dan Clancy himself announced that they weren't going to enforce that.
So, if it was January, though, that means that it was over a year ago. Oh, I guess maybe it was 3 months ago. Like, let's just, I don't know if it was 3 months ago. Yeah, it was probably 3 months ago. Never mind.
I received a warning from Twitch and immediately
2026.
stopped using it in my streams moving forward.
Yeah.
A week later, on February 4th, they suspended me for 1 day for the same reason and deleted the VOD. If I had known leaving the VOD published was a problem, I would have taken care of it.
Wait, so are you telling me that...
I was watching a bit of a stream from Kershaw about a week ago after I ended a stream. Him saying that I think one of the biggest problems that Twitch has with partners is that there's so many of them. They can't completely manage everything. Not that I'm justifying this on Twitch's end, because Twitch is horrible in general. Let's all agree on that. No, the real problem is that there's not enough people within the Twitch staff that are centerists and take the job serious enough. It's basically one major political bias bubble. I mean, considering how asmondgold was suspended for a week only to come back a few days later because of what he said, because of the takes he was given on Middle Eastern news channels using AI videos, and how he doesn't care about what they think, what the people that watch this stuff think, yeah. So, pretty much, it's just nothing more than a bunch of ridiculous double standards.
She got suspended because she didn't delete the VOD?
Also, this is just straight up lazy. Okay, sure, she said she could have deleted the VOD, no problem. Had someone told her that? Had someone from Twitch staff told her that? But then there's also the whole thing with, why not just do it yourself? Oh, if it's that bad. Ugh. This is literally a case of suspension double jeopardy here.
So she got a warning, and then she stopped using it, but because the VOD wasn't deleted, then they turned around and suspended her afterwards? Oh my god. How fucking retarded is that? Double jeopardy. That's what they call it.
Yeah,
But they never
pretty
provided
much.
any directions on how to fix the problem. I just assumed that as long as I stopped using the widget in future streams, it showed that I understood the warning and fixed the issue.
I mean, that's obvious bullshit. It is. It's obvious bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you even do that?
Then again, Ted Tone had his own theory about the whole thing with Dan Clancy about the reason why Dan Clancy he didn't do anything about it, but obviously I'm not going to say that here for obvious reasons. If this was an exclusive Rumble stream, I would go all out and say what he said.
And also, like, if you give somebody a warning and you tell them that it's actionable content, why wouldn't you just remove it yourself? I mean, just click the delete button.
Yeah.
Apparently, that wasn't good enough. And to make matters feel a bit more silly, on February 24th, Dan Clancy announced that Twitch will no longer enforce against streamers with...
Okay, that was literally 20 days later. In fact, remember when I mentioned Lenny? He did a video, follow-up video, on why they decided to do that, because realistically, it just turns people off from Twitch. And they eventually start losing traffic, and the whole goal is to keep people there so they can keep their numbers up. So, yeah. The moment they started realizing they started losing foot traffic and they felt like they were going to lose money, they had to do something just to stop it. Basically, their hand had to be forced. And honestly, that's probably the only thing you're ever going to get anything done when it comes to platforms like this anymore.
Combined chats.
So basically, she did nothing wrong, and then they even changed the rule a month later, but they're using the rule that they had removed, and the fact that she violated it once, that they punished her for twice, now is a justification to ban her for a third time for an unspecific reason.
Wow.
I think they just don't like what she's saying. I think that's what's going on. Obviously, that's what's going on.
Yeah, considering how they banned asmondgold, even though there was no claims of anything being done wrong on his end.
In this,
How
this
else
is
can you
something
explain
that, in most cases, we had not been proactively managing or policing putting combined chat.
Well,
But it was the case that if a report was made and we were issuing warnings, and that was what happened recently.
well, you got a
for
suspension too.
And I don't think, in hindsight, we've definitely heard the feedback. And so to be clear, we are updating our enforcement guidelines to make sure we are not issuing enforcement actions for integrating combined chat on the video from your stream, such as what happened with Giguk and what he was doing when he received the warning. Now, it's important to note the streamer is still taking responsibility for what happens in the chat from third-party platforms, since we don't control that. So sorry about the confusion. Thanks for the feedback.
Sorry about the confusion implies that was because confusion implies that people had a false perception. What's going on here? I mean, why are we? I mean, what's happening, bro? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. What's this?
Fast forward to today around 1 a.m. I received a 7-day suspension without any specifics as to what I did wrong. The only
How fucking retarded.
thing I do know is that I was under hateful conduct, but
Exact same thing that I got in trouble for too. Exact same thing.
Other than that, I was not given any specifics, so I apologize. I cannot tell you any more than that. I also did not receive any warnings.
It's retarded.
I submitted an appeal, which currently shows the status accepted, so I am waiting to see if I receive any emails about that. As a Twitch partner, I am incredibly disappointed in their inability to properly communicate with their streamers, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Was confused.
For the
Yeah.
time being, I will stream exclusively on Kick.
Oh,
Kick W! Let's go!
Until the suspension is over. YouTube shouldn't be impacted in any way, and the uploads will continue as planned. For streams, I'll be live on Kick Monday through Thursday, 12 to 3 p.m. PST. Thank you for
Basically, what Tiptoad said about this, but I watched every act of this, was 3 hours long. It's like a full movie.
continuing to support me, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
well, there it is. I guess, I mean, this is the way I see it, right? Is that, like, number one, I agree. I think it's a good thing. And also, I think that the more people that are multi-streaming, the less power that places like Twitch have by enforcing these stupid moderation actions.
Yes,
And
yes.
I think Joy watched 2 videos of that stream. One mentioned video and the other video after me getting banned. So she watched my video of getting banned, and then she ended up... she ended up getting banned for that. You think that's it? Have you contacted Dan directly? I mean, he's pretty hands-off from what my understanding is. And
Yeah. Well, and when it comes to Amazon, I'm pretty sure they're more focused on what actually makes money instead of trying to prop something up that loses money. So that's what I think Amazon. I'm basically as a blind eye to all this stuff. And also, I agree with Asmon on the multi-streaming thing. Because clearly something needs to be done about that. Clearly. And, well, and also there were comments made about how Twitch is basically sinking ship at this point, and I happen to agree with that.
I really haven't. I mean, the thing is, like, he knows what my complaints are. I mean, he doesn't. It's not like he doesn't.
If I'm being honest, I don't think it's really him gooning. I think it's just him being lazy and to the point where he doesn't want to deal, where he doesn't have a single amount of mental energy to deal with all this. And the whole thing with Twitch staff, though, well, I think in a way it's kind of similar, or I can't tell for sure. All I know is a few years ago they actually did get rid of a couple of they did get rid of a couple of pretty scummy people that used to be a part of the Twitch staff. One guy for abusing power, and one guy for creating a system that's supposedly to spot bot accounts, but in reality, there was a lot of up-and-coming VTubers and other streamers that probably have a decent following, but they couldn't, and because they were hyped up for their debut, but in reality, because of that the algorithm flagged it as bot activity.
No. I think that the problem really is that, I mean, I don't think that he, I mean, if you want me to be honest, like, I don't think he really gives a shit. I think he just wants
to come exactly.
And he doesn't really care a whole lot about what moderation is. Like, he looks at he's got a big picture here, and moderation is, like, right here, and he's not, like, really caught up with it. That's basically
yeah.
I don't think he really makes it a priority. Because it's very, very obvious that there is a massive bias. And I think that there's a bias with me. I think that, Powder experienced a bias. I'll link you guys the video. I totally support her with this, and I think that it was completely unfair. And he's gooning on a regular basis. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I have no idea about that at all. You guys want Saguna thoughts? I don't know about that. I don't want to make any...
Yeah, pretty much everybody makes jokes about that on a regular.
Assumptions. I think that's not, appropriate. But my point is that in general, I do think that the enforcement for it is completely the video that got me banned on Twitch, and this is her upload of it. And it's just fucking embarrassing. It really is. It's absolutely fucking embarrassing, and I don't know why anybody would put up with this shit. I think that it's absolutely completely unfair. And hopefully now that more people are multi-streaming, you're going to have a lot less people that are, putting up with dog shit garbage like this. And
yeah.
I'll read some of the comments about this on my Reddit and see what it is. Watch the Texas video. I will at some point. If Hassan didn't exist, you'd never be banned. I don't think that's true. I mean, I think that
No, I get the feeling even if Hassan wasn't around, there'd always be someone like him.
Here's the reality is that a lot of tech companies, the leadership and the moderation has been taken over by what I think are radical extremists.
Yeah.
And I think they are anti-American, anti-Western radical extremists. And the inability of a lot of companies to not hold them accountable and remove that has caused them, and basically a hands-off approach, has allowed them to enforce moderation actions based off of a political bias rather than off of a sound ideological foundation. And so what's happened is that you've had, and the only place that's not like this is Twitter. Twitter, because Elon owns Twitter, lets you do and say whatever the fuck you want, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the one place where all of those people got fired. And I think that what companies are going to start to realize is that those people are massive detriments to the company. And on a very fundamental level, they don't care.
Even if, say, a big if they got rid of all those people with all the radical political bias, you're still gonna have a long way to go before you're back in the public's good grace. Is because the longer this is held on, there's a lot of damage that has been done, and damage that's being done to the point where you lose all credibility.
Care about the company. They don't care about your business. They don't care about your product. They don't care about anything that has to do with you. The only thing that they care about is using your product, using your business, using your service as a vehicle that they can weaponize to push the viewpoints that they have. I find it
maybe
problematic. I dislike it entirely. And I think the entire mindset around it is very, very, very toxic because you're basically co-opting something, you're taking advantage of it for your agenda, and then afterwards, you don't care about whether it negatively affects the product or not. They're self-destructive ideological. Well, they're not self-destructive. They're not destroying themselves. They're destroying other things. They're just destructive. They're not self-destructive. Well, they are self-destructive, but that's for another reason. So, I think this is a big issue, and I don't know why more companies don't realize this, and I think that now they are, and you see more and more companies just simply ignoring these like Twitter outrages, etc. But I think that really it's just you have these hysterias that happen.
I think another half the problem was basically the start of 2020, how the pandemic basically just wrecked everything. And, well, pretty much, this is kind of the result of that.
Where these people make a lot of noise, and they're taken seriously because they're making a lot of noise. I don't actually think it makes any effect on people. I don't think that their upsetness or anger or frustration really manifests into anything. And I think that companies need to do a better job at not hiring them. And that's not even enough. I think the companies need to go through and do like a purge of like all of these people at these companies and remove them. Anybody who's seen as using the company as a vehicle for a political message or for an ideology, all of these people should be getting removed. And this isn't for Twitch particularly, it's for every company.
Yeah, exactly.
Because very simply, they're co-opting your company and they're using it for their agenda. And this is what people like this do. And I think that the more of them there are at a company and the more socially acceptable it becomes, the more that those people just simply outwardly state that. They just say that themselves. They say, this is what I'm doing and that's why I'm doing it. Sounds like you and Twitch. Well, I mean, I do think Twitch is allowed this to happen because, I mean, there's a universe where she gets a 7-day ban or I get a 7-day ban for saying this, but other people don't get banned at all. It's complete. It's a complete inversion, and very clearly there's a double standard going on.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. As I was gonna say. Right. Yeah, considering all the stuff that Hassan gets away with saying, and at best he gets, it's a 1-day suspension on his day off, and keep in mind, he already had, like, 7 suspensions, and he hasn't been permanently booted off the platform.
Hijacking a metaphorical microphone to shout their bullshit. Well, that's the only reason they can have their bullshit is because in an open ecosystem, it gets rejected every single time. So the only way they can create consensus for something is if they manufacture it. Because they can't create consensus at a ballot box. They can't create consensus inside of an ideology. They have to force consensus. And the way that they force consensus is by importing a bunch of immigrants and also by rigging things. They're not saying they're rigging elections. I'm sure some cases they do. And really bringing in people to pad out election records is rigging. But
yeah, but I doubt it might come to a day where it's like the Battle of Athens, but I doubt it's going to be like the Battle of Athens, Georgia.
I think that that's also what they do. And before midterm elections, well, yeah, I think that'll be another big issue. And check Powder's last tweet. She used the power of her adjustable model to get unbanned. I did actually see that on Twitter. How is it racist to recognize, except the Indians are using USA's resources for themselves and it's disadvantageous for American citizens? Well, it's racist because the people that are doing it want it to happen. See, and this is the problem, is that a lot of people don't recognize what's happening. The reason why they're doing it is because they agree with it.
Okay, let me see. I'm an Indian and even not only accept or know it for a fact, everyone here wants to go to the USA or you have to get themselves settled.
The purpose of the purpose of the system is what it does. So the moment that you have a system that creates an outcome that allows people to get silenced for, or, you know, funds a bunch of illegal aliens, or, you know, like nepotism for, you know, Indians or something like that, that's the reason why they're doing it. They're doing it because that it works. It's that simple.
Oh, so he's starting to drink Dr. Pepper. Oh. I wonder if he's not specific to Coke. Coke, and he likes drinking Dr. Pepper too. If so, then I might have bashed on Leaflet for no apparent reason. My bad.
Powder was unbanned? Yeah, I saw she was unbanned. They're targeting a certain group of streamers, it seems? Yeah. And that's exactly why. It's because of the stuff that I say. Twitch is digging their own grave. Well, I think that it's moving in that direction. And I think that you can see that verifiably, that Twitch is losing its monopoly on streaming. And I think that, honestly, maybe this isn't true, But I think that if Twitch wasn't losing as much market share as it was, I would have already gotten banned. I do. I think people like me would have already gotten banned. But the reality is that nowadays, Twitch is already losing a lot of market share to begin with, and they don't want to get rid of more people.
Yeah, because Kick grown exponentially over the last couple of years, and more people are starting to even multi-stream to Kick and Twitch now, or how like some people are even going towards places like Rumble.
Be way worse. Yeah, if Twitch still had 100% market share and there was no YouTube, Kick, or Rumble streaming, I think that would have been banned last year, for sure. And thank God that we have an actual free market.
Yeah.
And again, like, it's not that I'm that important, but it's that doing something like that would represent.
Kind of makes me wonder if Rumble will ever grow to the same status as YouTube, but then again, considering how Twitch and YouTube are, they're always going to be the biggest in the spaces that they're in, whether it's streaming or video content, making videos, they're always going to be big. It's kind of like, when it comes to that, it's kind of like comparing AEW to WWE. Sure, AEW has grown over the last few years because of the dissatisfaction with how WWE handled things, and mainly because, well, Vince was out of touch with reality. Look, in just reality, you're not going to get rid of some of the biggest companies in the world unless they screw up so bad that they can never recover from it. As much as I agree there needs to be more competition in the open market, it's just you're not going to get rid of all the big players just because the smaller players starting to grow into something big. It just doesn't happen that way.
That there's a problem and it would cause more people to leave, because every single time a big streamer gets banned or suspended or anything, every other streamer sees that and they think to themselves, what if it's me? What if I'm next? Even if they didn't do anything bad, that opinion is out there, and and
it's pretty much like a scare tactic for everyone involved. Well, it's like they're constantly walking on eggshells.
Reminds them that if this is your only ship, it's better to have a few lifeboats too.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why free market is actual freedom. Yeah, that's why they want to get rid of the free market. Lamau, you don't know Indians working at Twitch. Of course, they want to let shit get out. I don't know if they are or not, but I'll be watching that video too, so we'll see. It should be mandated that Twitch states the exact reason for a ban and no vague reasons. I do think that if social media companies want to enforce ideological bans, that they should lose a degree of like protections. Like a lot of the Section 230 protections that social media companies have are hinged on the platforms being platforms and not publishers. And I think that if a platform is instituting and doing bans based off of ideological things, that they are now crossing into the threshold of being a publisher. And that's what I would do. Like, if I was Trump or I was, like, in charge of the government, that's what I would do. I would look at a smaller company, like maybe Twitch, maybe, like, an even smaller one, that...
Yeah, however, when a company like Twitch, which is considered privately owned, I think the biggest problem is that it's privately owned and not a part of the government, because what applies to the rules of the government versus like rules of the private companies can make their own rules and enforce whatever they want on unless there's something where the government is required to intervene, I doubt it's ever going to get. I doubt it's ever going to change.
Bans people for like ideological reasons, and then I would just simply take away their protections, and I would say that you're not a platform, you're a publisher, and so now you're accountable. And I guarantee you that that would terrify every other company, and then they would change their policies. That's what they should do. Like, I do it to Blue Sky, probably. Yeah, I think Blue Sky would be a really good example. And if they're policing editing, they're publishing. Yes, exactly. Is changing government equals king? Well, I mean, what do you mean by that? Make an example of it? Yeah, or Reddit. Yeah, or something like that. Because, again, Section 230, you cannot have social media without Section 230. So taking away Section 230 effectively kills the website. And I think that they should do that. I think that they should do that to set an example, because we do have a huge problem of these social media companies. It's obvious that social media is a tremendously powerful resource nowadays. So with it being so powerful, how is it that it's acceptable that it's in the hands of people that are making biased decisions and trying to enforce a narrative? You shouldn't have that happen. There should be accountability. And I think there should be. That's what I would do. More viewers are just going to move to moving to Kick as multi-streaming becomes more popular. Yeah, I mean, I think that's true too. I mean, obviously it's true. And I think more people will move to Kick, they'll move to Rumble, they'll move to a bunch of different platforms. And I think that's normal. Democrats will complain about your completely logical point, but they loved whenever Twitter was being controlled by Biden's admin. Again, people don't hate control, they want to have the control. People don't hate the police, they want to be the police. People don't hate fascism, they want to be the fascists. People don't...
Yeah, I think in a way that actually makes sense. That's because if you're powerless, you want power. And once you have power, you don't want to give it up.
Don't hate rules, they want to make the rules. Like, as soon as you understand this inversion, you can understand people's intentions. They don't actually care about this one way or another. The only thing that they care about is being able to weaponize it. That's it. And so, really, streamers have more power than shareholders. You're like a shareholder. Well, yeah, I mean, enough people do, right? I mean, if one person does it, stream my kick, 7-day Twitch ban, yeah, I want to break anyway. Like, it's pretty fucking simple, right? And so, anyway, yeah, that's the way I feel about it. I think it's fucking ridiculous, and I'm glad to see that more people are realizing it.
Yeah.
So that does it for this video. What did you guys think? Was it justified, or was it straight up stupid? I'm on the side of stupid, mainly because, well, because of the whole thing with at Twitch recently. And normally I don't agree on everything that asmondgold says, but there are certain things I will agree with on him. I will agree with him on. And, well, some of the stuff that was mentioned here, especially with the whole thing with Section 230, I feel like Twitch really needs to be seriously monitored. Well, and I know Amazon won't do anything because they're actually focused on stuff that makes money, and they just leave Twitch to its own devices. So yeah, unless something changes, I'm gonna be skeptical. I'm gonna be completely pessimistic about how Amazon's stepping in. And also, I'm not really going to be all for the Gooner jokes, even though that was on one of my old Twitter accounts. I think it's not really about that. I think the guy is just in some ways lazy and doesn't want to take responsibility and doesn't want to have a hands-on approach, and like like Ed Craven, aka Eddie, one of the co-founders of Kick, or even better yet, whoever runs Rumble. I'm not sure about their ethic like, as a CEO, but I'll have to look into that. But anyways, that's it for me. If you liked today's video, please leave a like, drop a comment down below. I hope you weren't your heads too hard or face palming too hard. And then please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified on when I post new videos or when I decide to go live on Kick. If any of you guys want to catch me live, whether I do my reaction streams or my gaming streams, either head over to kit.com/blazingkitsandavtuber, or if any of you guys want a break from Kick and want to join me on Rumble, well, head over to rumble.com/blazingwolf. It's spelled capital BLAZEIN, capital WOLF. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to rebrand over there. I think once I made it the way it is what it is. Honestly, doesn't really matter to me. But anyways, like I said, if you want to find me on Humble, well, go ahead and follow me there, or even leave a like on any of my videos that I posted there, or any of my past live streams. Honestly, that's about it. Until next time, see you guys later.